One thing about basketball is that nothing ever gets in the way of an NFL match, not even bad weather. But sometimes, when the fans least expect it, certain interruptions can leave the whole crowd shocked as the game comes to a halt. Let's dive into the video to see how the police tackled a minor on the field and some other infamous intruders that interrupted NFL games. First up, police deny claims they tackled a minor on the field. In the second quarter of the recent NFL game between Tampa Bay and Atlanta, a child sprinted onto the field and was violently tackled by a security guard. His child's mother, who identified herself to the Associated Press, said the youngster is 10 years old. The youngster is older than 10. A police officer subsequently informed the AP, but because he's a minor, he couldn't give out any details. The policeman claimed that the mother was unsure of which of her several children had leaped into the field. According to Lieutenant Abe Carmack, spokesperson for the Tampa Police Department, there was an issue with a juvenile at Raymond James Stadium during the game, but no charges would be brought and no one was taken into custody. The incident happened as the Buccaneers lined up for an extra point following Leonard Fournette's touchdown run that put them up 6-0. During the San Francisco 49ers home game against the Los Angeles Rams on Monday night, a protester carrying a flare raced onto the field and was tackled by Rams linebacker Bobby Wagner. After being restrained by Wagner, the demonstrator reported the incident to the police. He also filed a report on the matter. Following up on who was the guy Wagner tackled, Bobby Wagner, a great linebacker for the LA Rams and a tackling machine, decided to tackle a protester who had interrupted Monday night's game against the San Francisco 49ers, knocking him to the ground before security could get him. Following an incident in Utah, the guy went onto the field during the second quarter of the game with a purple flare to support animal rights. Alex Taylor, a member of the organization Direct Action Everywhere, has been named as the intruder. The individual had to be caught by security, and one of his pals and fellow group members was unable to approach the pitch, forcing the game to be paused. However, when Taylor opted to turn around and head back toward Rams' sideline, star linebacker Wagner took it upon himself to make him stop once and for all. The protester was quickly side-checked by Wagner once he caught up to him, dramatically sending him to the ground on the pitch. The game could then continue because security was able to surround him and take him off the field. In a post-event interview, Wagner stated he was only attempting to assist security and denounced the environmental rebels. He said that he simply spotted someone sprinting on the field and he seemed like he wasn't meant to be on the field. He saw security was having a little trouble, so he assisted them out. Moving on, the game interruptions aren't limited to humans. Stanford and Washington's Pac-12 matchup on Saturday was postponed for an interesting reason. Someone was flying an unlicensed drone over Washington's Husky Stadium. It occurred once more in the same city less than 24 hours later, this time during Sunday's NFL game between the Atlanta Falcons and Seattle Seahawks. In the game's fourth quarter, the players were abruptly removed from the field by the referees. There was no severe weather nearby and no overexcited fan raced onto the field. The delay's cause was made known shortly after the Seahawks and Falcons left the field. Fox analyst Petros Papadakis said that he kind of felt like he was gazing at a UFO even though he knew it wasn't. The game resumed after a 10 to 15 minute drone delay, and Washington defeated Stanford 40-22 to go 4-0. The phrase on his new t-shirt was earned by Huskies quarterback Michael Penix Jr., who passed for 309 yards and 2 touchdowns. Drones aren't the only things bugging the games nowadays. Some days are for lightning too. 2 New York Jets games were postponed in 2010 due to lightning, which caused significant chaos for the dispersed spectators. Similar circumstances struck the Seattle Seahawks in 2013, which makes sense given the nearly daily rainfall in the Pacific Northwest. And in 2013, the Chicago Bears and Baltimore Ravens nearly got blasted into Lake Michigan by lightning strikes, causing a 2-hour delay in the Windy City. Up next are some of the strangest game interruptions in the NFL's history. These disruptions can be divided into 3 groups: weather-related, natural, and human-caused idiocy. Fortunately, none of them resulted in the games being abandoned, simply postponed, but several of them made spectators and players alike shake their heads. This is a list of 6 NFL mid-game delays, only a part of which may be attributed to bizarre human actions. Starting off, on number 6 is snowplow. The New England Patriots played host to the Miami Dolphins in December 1982, and the weather could not have been more cold, unlike South Beach. The ground at Foxborough's Schaefer Stadium was frozen because because of a rainstorm that was followed by freezing temperatures, and just before the game, a snowstorm started. Referees permitted a snow plow to sometimes clean the yard lines to maintain some kind of order on the field despite the awful playing conditions. That seems reasonable until the snowplow driver arrived to shovel a yard line across the field late in the fourth quarter, but he went off course precisely where the ball would be placed for a potential field goal. The game, which became famous as the snowplow game, was won by Pats kicker John Smith, who undoubtedly had a quite strong New England accent while operating the snowplows. At number 5 are sprinklers. Both Seattle and Miami know how to deal with rain, but the unexpected downpour during the team's 2012 game certainly didn't even cross the players' minds for the NFL clubs based in the cities. Large, heavy showers came pouring in from all sides at regular intervals. At a point, it even felt like it was coming from below the ground. But on closer inspection, the players realized that this was really happening, and no, the ground didn't suddenly burst open and let water everywhere. It was the sprinklers. Miami wideout Devon Bess was impressed when the sprinklers turned on in the stadium during the third quarter, briefly delaying the game and recreating a Buffalo Wild Wings commercial in real life. The sprinkler system at the stadium had unintentionally been configured for Saturday, right when the match was taking place. Up next on number 4 is power outage. By halftime, Super Bowl XLVII was already a complete disaster. As teams went to the locker rooms, the Baltimore Ravens enjoyed a sizable lead against the San Francisco 49ers. Then Beyoncé entertained everyone with a tremendous halftime performance. The second half started, and the Superdome's lights immediately went out, and, well, they never came back on. It was discovered that a malfunctioning piece of equipment was to blame for this outage. This was especially ironic because the component was intended to stop the incident from occurring during the biggest yearly sporting event in history. On number 3 is spectator interference. The term spectator interference is extensively defined in the NFL rulebook, with field invasions being the most serious example. These people are known as pitch invaders in soccer, and they bring a comical air and the smell of lager beer with them. These morons in football rush onto the field to attract attention, but every fan just wants to see the intrusion taken out around the 50-yard line by a hard-hitting free safety. Moving on to the second spot on the list, streakers. Anyone may enter the field by just running from the stands. There isn't much preparation required, and you just need a dozen or so fermented drinks. However, some supporters go above and beyond by breaching the rules and entering the field during a game. These intelligent individuals do it in their underwear. In actuality, Mark Roberts, a Briton, has the title of the Streaking King. Roberts was able to enter the field quickly during Super Bowl XXXVII's halftime. He additionally interrupted a Miami Dolphins versus New York Giants game in London in 2008 by disguising himself as a referee. He was fortunate to have a deflated football covering his privates. The number 1 spot goes to Heidi. During a period of political turmoil and world upheaval in November 1968, the New York Jets and Oakland Raiders played the historic Heidi game. Therefore, it is appropriate that the match will determine how sports will be broadcast for the remainder of modern history. The game at Oakland Alameda County Coliseum was never interrupted. They saw a dramatic comeback by the Raiders firsthand as they scored 2 touchdowns in the last minute of play to rout their opponents 43-32. The only issue is that viewers of the game on NBC saw that the Jets were in the lead late in the fourth quarter, which led to a seamless transition into the film Heidi. What's worst of all, it wasn't even the Shirley Temple version. Instead, it was a television adaptation of Heidi starring Michael Redgrave and Jennifer Edwards. That's a wrap for this video. What do you think is the worst interruption? Comment below, give this video a thumbs up, and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you at the next one.